Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bearded Bonsai YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about what rootstock is on a cultivar and why you should cut it off. So if we take a look at this tree here, you will see that this is actually an Acer japonicum Meiku Jaku, also known as the dancing peacock. These are great trees. I love these trees. Awesome. We'll leave that for another video. What you see here, and if you follow it all the way down, coming off the trunk down here, this is understock or rootstock. So what that is any specialty cultivar, I won't say any, like 99%, if you're buying from a nursery especially, has been grafted onto rootstock or your regular Acer palmatum. And the reason for that is the regular Acer palmatum is really vigorous and really healthy, and it has a really good root system on it. So when you want a specialty cultivar like this, what growers will do is they will take a small cutting off of this and they will graft it onto the rootstock. And once that graft takes, what that does is the regular rootstock feeds the graft, and what you end up with is a specialty cultivar. Now, what happens in this situation is when you don't trim the rootstock. And if you look down here, you can see this trunk is pretty much the same size as this trunk. And when you don't cut it, you can see how much taller this is than this. This species is really vigorous, very strong growing, and if you were to just leave this over time, it would completely overtake this cultivar. This would end up slowly dying back, and this is all you would have left, the regular rootstock. So the solution to this is very simple. You just cut it off. Now what you really want to do, as soon as you see the rootstock kind of sprouting out, you just want to pinch it off with your fingers or cut it off. This should never be this tall. I let this grow as an example to show you what can happen and what to do with it. So I'm done with it. I love this tree too much to let this keep happening. So we're going to cut it off. So I have here my concave cutters that I use for bonsai. You can use scissors, you can use regular garden shears, you can use any tool like that. Just make sure, one, it's sharp, and two, it's clean. I just sanitize these with an alcohol wipe so I know they're good. We're not going to spread any disease to this tree. No worries. So what you're going to do is just follow the rootstock down where it's coming off the trunk. And the one thing you want to be careful for is you don't want to cut the rootstock off even with the trunk. Wherever you cut this, it's going to have a little dieback. Most likely it's going to die back to the next node, which is just where the buds or leaves come off. So in this case, I'm going to cut it off right below this first node. There you go. So there you have it. And now you can see we have our actual Acer japonicum dancing peacock. You don't have this giant rootstock distracting you. And now a good part of that is this will no longer be stealing nutrients from this plant, because that happens as well. So now all the growth on this tree will be getting pushed into this. So with any luck, it's end of July right now, late July. I think 2 days will be August 1st. So with any luck, all that energy will be put into this tree and we'll get a late summer flush coming out of here. But even so, if that's not the case, that's fine, because next year, next spring, when this starts leafing out, you won't have this on there robbing it, taking all its nutrients and everything. And you can see right here, you have this little nub. I'll show you a zoomed in image of this so we can get a better look. All right, so what we're looking at here is a closer view of the trunk. You can see, I'll zoom in here just a bit. You can see the rootstock trunk, and this right here, this green It was the regular Acer palmatum rootstock where it had grown up off here. Take a little turn. You can see there, it was growing right up off of there. And then here, you can see the japonicum. And this right here is the graft. You'll notice the color and texture here of the trunk below the graft, and up here, the color and texture of the trunk above the graft. And right here, you can see that point, that upper point, that's from that side veneer graft. Over time, this will continue to callus and heal, and you will not even be able to tell it was a graft when it's all said and done. You might be able to a little bit if you have a good eye, but it will still look way better. And that's another way you can tell if it's rootstock. If it's below the graft and it's growing out, it's rootstock every time, no matter what. If it's above the graft and it's growing, that's your cultivar, that's your specialized tree. And there are no exceptions to those rules. So there you go. This one does have a pretty wild callus kind of wrapping around the tree. I think it's kind of neat, gives a little character. So let's take a look at these beautiful dancing peacock leaves. And let me grab the rootstock here and hold it up. And there you can clearly see the difference. And again, that's another way to tell, okay, here's rootstock, your classic Japanese maple leaf, and here's the specialized cultivar. Obviously very, very different. So that's just another quick way. And again, there's where we made our cut. And this should die back down to here. As big as this may callus and kind of start shooting out new buds. That's fine too. Either way, over time, once I'm sure that the tree won't suffer from it, I'll go ahead and cut that back, and it will in time end up being even with the trunk. But you don't want to do that right from the start, because you do run the risk of your main trunk dying back and causing some damage to your tree. So there you go. But you had this little nub, and what should happen is this will probably go ahead. Like I said, it will usually die back. That's why I left it. It should die back to the trunk, and then over time, it'll either kind of rot off, fall away. But most likely, once it's kind of died back, I'll go ahead and cut that off. That'll probably be next spring, next summer sometime. So there you have it. It's a quick, easy fix, but it's very important to do. Any specialized cultivars you have, whether it's Bloodgood, Dancing Peacock here, or anything else, anytime you see little leaves or branches at the bottom and they don't look like the branches or the leaves at the top, you want to cut that off, because all that is your rootstock or understock. I see a lot of comments online. A lot of times people will post pictures, and they will post a picture of these leaves together, and they'll say, these leaves don't look anything like this. Like, is this a new kind of tree? Is this a double tree on one? Unfortunately, no, it's just your rootstock. You're going to want to cut this off. What I'm going to do with this rootstock is I'm going to try to make some cuttings and grow some new trees from that. That will be a different video, so stay tuned. For now, there you have it. Cut your rootstock off. Keep these guys clean. Keep them rootstock free, and you will reap the rewards of a beautiful, healthy tree. There you have it. Hope you learned something. I appreciate you, as always, for tuning in. Can't wait for the next one. Please come back and take care.